Our next guest has worked as a senior economist at the IMF and was also a chief economist at Santander. And he's now a professor at the IE Business School in Madrid. Fernando Fernandez joins us from there now. Mr. Fernandez, thanks very much indeed for joining us here on Bloomberg today. Can I ask you a general question first? The recapitalization and the reorganization of these smaller Spanish savings banks. Has it been a success?
Well, first of all, good morning. No, I don't think it has been a success. It was very difficult for it to be a success, but considering that most likely today the governor of the central bank will announce that 4 previous saving banks will be nationalized and 2 others will probably be given another month to find private capital, which we probably will not be able to find. Altogether, we're talking about 6 saving banks which will have to be nationalized. And still, the rest of them, there are still big question marks whether they have enough capital to deal with the situation. Also, the liquidity situation is very important, not only the capital situation of the banks.
And how concerned are you by the debt that these Cajas also still hold? Of course, it's not necessarily and much sovereign debt exposure to Greece. It is the debt that they hold on distressed property assets. And my word, looking at the data, that's not getting any better anytime soon.
Exactly, that is the main problem. I mean, I guess you can say that the toxic assets in the Spanish banking systems is not the sovereign debt at all. It is basically real estate assets which will have proven to be to still have to go down significantly. All forecast indicates that the market is in any way moving, so the outlook for these banks will not improve. And the big question mark is whether there will be at all any private capital interested in these saving banks in the next coming 3 months. So at the end of the day, the big question for the central bank is, and for the Spanish economy, is whether after being nationalized, which will happen today, whether there will be at any time the possibility that these banks will be able to come back to the market, and they will have to be liquidated at the end. And a lot of economists in Spain are considering that the sooner this liquidation process takes place, the better for the Spanish economy, because then the remaining banks, the remaining solvent banks, can go on and business as usual and start giving credit to the private sector.
Well, you started mentioning the Spanish economy there. Let me get your take on where you think the Spanish economy is heading as we draw to the 4th quarter and going into 2012. Are there much signs of optimism as far as you're concerned? Let's not forget the unemployment rate, what, 20% for youth unemployment, 45?
Right. No, there's no reason to be especially optimistic on the Spanish economy under current policies. I think the Spanish economy still needs a very large adjustment process that has been consistently delayed. And until that happens, it will be very difficult for the Spanish economy to start growing. And this, of course, deteriorates the image for the banks. I think the big question is the Spanish economy is heading for if not a recession, certainly a stagnation. It's not expected to grow at all in the 3rd and 4th quarter. That will lead to a very difficult 2012. And unless there are significant structural reforms on the supply side, basically a radical change of the labor market that will reignite growth, it is very difficult that the Spanish economy can again start growing. And therefore, it is very difficult for the banks to be able to increase their solvency situation, which leads us to the question of what to do with these 6 ailing banks that will probably, as I said, need to be at some point liquidated.
Okay, Fernando Fernandez, I'm very grateful. Thanks for giving us your insight, Mr. Fernandez, professor at the IE Business School in Madrid. Thank you.